So when something like a chronic illness that like really affects your life, like kidney disease, or you end up on dialysis, or kidney fails, you're out of commission for a long time, you really find out during this whole process, like who your people are, right? You find out who is in your corner and who isn't in your corner. And it's sad because it really highlights the characters of the people around you and the kind of individuals that are 100% okay with you dying from this. Like you make the big ask videos, and you're asking people to share and repost, and hey, I need this thing because you are in fact in a life or death situation. um a lot of people don't really take into consideration how severe kidney disease is and how detrimental dialysis can be to your body, because there's this idea and this stigma in this space, in this community, that, well, it keeps you alive, so it can't be that bad. Well, you can walk, can't you? You can drive a car, can't you? You know, uh, well, you're still alive, and that's all that matters. Not really, but that's the idea. And a lot of them feel that way because they don't see all the extra stuff. They just see you smiling in a photo, or they see you going places and eating food and drinking water, and they think that, oh well, it can't be that bad. They're not in a wheelchair. Or the big one is, oh well, it's not cancer, so it can't be that bad. It's not cancer. It could be worse. Yeah, just speaking from personal experience, and I'm not trying to, like, throw anybody under the bus. So I'm not like, you know, being passive aggressive or anything like that. But like, just in my own personal life, there was a lot of people who I know, that were just like, well, if I died from this, it would just be like, oh wow, you know, he died. And it would just be a black and white picture with RIP at the bottom, if that, if even that. And they're just gonna be like, oh well, Carl died. We going to Chipotle for lunch, or I got a break in 30 minutes, and and they just go about their day like it doesn't really matter. And when something like this happens to you, you're going to see like a lot of that. Speaking for myself, like I was on dialysis for 4.5 years, and like individuals that I thought liked me a lot were just completely okay with me just, well, if that 4.5 turned into 10, and that would have just been, I just would have been on dialysis. And if I would have died from it, it would have just been whatever. So because of that, I had to like really reevaluate how I interacted with certain individuals. Some people are just meme people. Like you send them funny memes and you laugh and joke back and forth, but they're not the kind of individuals that you would call if you're having a crisis. They're not the kind of individuals that you would call if you're suffering. Some of these individuals they're just casual people that you just meet along the way, and they sort of feel the same exact way about you. And when you go through something like this, the the pain and the suffering and all the blood and the tears and all that stuff, and you're doing dialysis for a long time, you know, and just people are sitting back and they're watching you go through this. It's funny how they're always the first ones to congratulate you, pat you on the back, and then tell you how they always knew that you could do it. So I'm not the kind of individual that would ever call anybody to like take me to the hospital. For me, like the bare minimum that anybody, not even the bare minimum, like I don't want to say the bare minimum because it makes it sound cheap, but if somebody were to repost, like when I was asking for a transplant, if somebody were to repost that I needed a transplant, that meant a lot to me. That was an incredibly generous, special gesture that somebody could make for me on my behalf. even if it didn't bear any fruit. It's just the fact that somebody thought enough of me to do that. And I was fortunate enough where I had certain individuals that did do that. And I had certain individuals that I thought more of that didn't do that. So as a result of that, I had to like reevaluate how I interacted with those individuals. And then you come to the conclusion that, well, they're just casual people that I know. They're just casual people that you know. And that's not a reflection on you. That doesn't mean that you're lesser than. That doesn't mean that you're not worth it. It just means that, you are not a priority to some people. But that doesn't mean that you don't matter. You can't like internalize that sort of thing and then make it like about you. For me, because there is a part of me that still like enjoys interacting with these people, sending them memes and even occasionally hanging out with them occasionally. But I understand that they're not those kinds of people for me. They may be that kind of person or those kinds of people for other people. They're just not those kinds of people for me. Because if I was in that same, if the roles were reversed and those individuals needed something this important, this badly, they wouldn't have even had to have asked me. I would have just, whatever, I posting everything on socials. I'm, giving out numbers of transplant centers. I'm going to get checked. That's just me. I'm going to get checked to see if I'm a match. I'm doing these things. I'm making videos talking about it. I'm making video essays. I'm putting in graphics and I'm doing all that. But that's just me. That's just how I am and what I would do. But you can't see people for who you are. You have to see them for who they are. And with certain individuals, for who they are, that might be too much to ask.